Hi, folks. My name's Devin. I am one of the leaders with Tacoma Democratic Socialists of America. I'm down here today for May Day at Tollefson Plaza here in Tacoma with a broad coalition, I think, of 25 organizations so far, representing the working class, representing our immigrant communities, representing the broad political left to create the biggest, boldest May Day possible for Tacoma. I think everyone here knows that there's a deep, important history in May Day going all the way back to the Haymarket riots and the martyrs in Chicago in the 1880s, which eventually led to it becoming the global workers' holiday and one of the most important events for the left throughout the world, and of course, ignored in the United States. Right now we're in a really pivotal and turbulent political moment where the working class needs to be as engaged as possible. We got fights against working folks, we got attacks on federal workers, and of course we've got ICE and deputized folks throughout the country attacking our most vulnerable immigrant communities. And it's really, really important that folks are out in solidarity today. We know there's May Day actions like this one happening around the country and the world, and it's amazing to be doing one here in Tacoma on this beautiful, gorgeous day, and bringing together so many folks who care so much and are in solidarity and struggle to really improve conditions. And I like to think this is just the beginning of a lot more organizing to come and building up worker power, worker muscle here in Tacoma, where we broadly need it because we are a deeply working class, blue-collar town.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tacoma's May Day Rally and March. We are all so excited to have you all today. And you know what? I'm looking at this beautiful crowd and I'm noticing people of all different ages and backgrounds. And I'm just so happy to see it. Please give it up for yourselves for being here. My name is Shanat. I'm your MC. I am a member of Pierce County Immigration Alliance. So we are here to celebrate May Day and the wins of the workers and immigration rights movement, and we're here to highlight our current struggles and set our sights on the fight ahead. The Trump administration has brought heightened attacks against immigrants, workers, Black and Native communities, students, LGBTQ plus folks, and women. And part of how we fight his racist and reactionary agenda is by uniting together. We have over 24 organizations endorsing this event that focus on a variety of struggles, so please let's give it up for them. Now, I'd like to invite the Water Warriors to welcome us to Coast Salish Puyallup land. They're here to give us a cultural offering, so give it up for the Water Warriors!
Tual Galapu de Isha, Dakota Case Tista, Tual Chut, Puyallup, Tual Chut, Kotubshida, Tual Chut, Lakota. To all my honorable relatives, friends, and family, my name is Dakota Case. I come from the Puyallup people. I'm part of the Water Warriors, and I'm a descendant of the Lakota people. You know, I sat up for days and thought about what we'd get up here and say and the things we'd talk about. And one of the things I want to say is that the war never really stopped for the indigenous people of this continent. Since the arrival of the first tall ships, we fought for our survival, we fought for our identity, we fought for our culture. That invisible line that exists right there at the border of the United States wasn't there. A lot of our lineages lead over into Mexico, the tribes over there, the Aztecas, the Mayans. We could go down the list of the interconnectedness here. Our people didn't just sit here in spots and say this was our villages. We traveled. You look at the Twoshuti people right here. We spoke 7 different languages at a very early age because we sent our children to different villages to learn their ways and married into their people. So statistically speaking, the indigenous people here, the war have never stopped for us. We face the highest rates of the fentanyl crisis, the domestic violence crisis, any crisis that faces on our land, we face it, and it's to take title away from this land. That's what this is about, is title to the land. There's no title here. This government is built on, this government is immigrants itself. Donald Trump is an immigrant. This government was here after the fact, and the brown people that are here are going to be here well after this government is gone. Our survivability has been tested after genocide, war after war. This is just a new one. This is just the monster showing its face now. Donald Trump is the face of that monster that the people here have always faced. Our survivability is here, though. Our survivability has been tested time and time again, and we will be here. My people will be here. Our Mexican sisters and brothers will be here. Our black brothers and sisters will be here. Our Palestinian brothers and sisters will be here. Our Muslim brothers and sisters will be here. You know, anytime I turn on a news briefing and listen to these Republicans speak, I just hear it. Any brown person can get it. I wake up and I look at my kids' face, and now we can be deported to a concentration camp in El Salvador for the work that we do. But I'm grateful every single person is here, and we're ready to face that adversity to protect our brown brothers and sisters, to stop this chaos, to stop Donald Trump. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome you to our territories, welcome you to our homelands. We're here on the original village side of my people. The Puyallup people, our village side is right here, the mouth of our river that was redirected when the government got here and said we was nothing but merciless savages and less than humans, and redirected us and made us forcibly sign into treaties. But we're still here. We're praying on top of my ancestors right now. My ancestors stand here with us today. So with that being said, I have to go be a father after this. I have to go pick my kids up from school. So with that being said, I'd like to leave you guys with the song to start this march out, and leave you with the prayers of my people, and pray for every single person here today that is here to stand up against our fascism.
Thank you so much, Water Warriors, for that beautiful and powerful cultural offering. We are very grateful to be in the struggle with you all in the fight against imperialism and continued land and resource disposition. Now I'd like to introduce Samuel Kaiser, representing Freedom Road Socialist Organization. Sam is also a rank and file member and shop steward for UFCW 3000 and is a grocery shop worker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Samuel. I'm a proud shop steward for UFCW 3000, and I'm a member of Freedom Road Socialist Organization. I am so honored to be here with you all on this beautiful May Day, fighting for worker and immigrant rights. 139 years ago, May 1886, immigrant workers in the city of Chicago took to the streets in a general strike. The people had had enough. And in their campaign for the 8-hour workday, thousands flooded the city streets to demand change. In response, the bosses sent hired guns, otherwise known as the police. to crush the strike. Shame! Several labor leaders were framed with conspiracy and sentenced to death for the crime of standing up for the common worker. Shame! The heroic sacrifice of the May Day martyrs was not forgotten. May 1st became known as the International Workers' Day. In 2006, over 100 years later, millions took to the streets in the immigrant rights mega marches to fight back against racist legislation that would criminalize undocumented migrants. The Northwest Detention Center, farm worker organizer Lalo Juarez, and SEIU member Lewin Dixon sit in cold cells in the Northwest Detention Center. Boo! The illegal deportation of Abrego Garcia, a U.S. citizen, stands as a testament to the parody of justice that is ICE and Trump's America. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do? His policies are designed to silence labor leaders and immigrant communities. But the wave of protests erupting across the country prove that resistance is growing. We must take this opportunity to fan the flame. Today, we will show that the revolutionary spirit of May Day is alive and well. Trump's America is not an anomaly, but the logical conclusion of a system that puts profit over people. This system cannot exist without the ruthless exploitation of workers and the oppression of entire nations. Imperialism is a dying system, and Trump's regime is proof of its rapid decline. Trump and his cronies want us to believe that this is the best that we can do, but we know better. The truth is, we're fighting for a brighter future where the needs of the many come before the greed of the few. The only way out is to organize. So today, I call on everyone here to keep organizing on the shop floor. I call on everyone to keep organizing in the streets. And if you want to organize for revolution, join the FRSO. Join us in building a political party capable of putting the people in power, abolishing ICE, and guaranteeing the future for all working and oppressed people. Let us remember the May Day martyrs. Let us not forget our history. Let us boldly march with our fists raised high in defiance of the rotten hand that we've been dealt. Freedom is ours if we take it. When I say dare to struggle, you say dare to win. Dare to struggle. Dare to win. Dare to struggle. Dare to win. Dare to struggle. Dare to win. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sam, for speaking on the rich history of this important day. What a great way to kick off today's speeches. All right, next join me in welcoming up Milo, Boeing worker and union member of International Association of Machinists Local 751 and Tacoma DSA member to talk about the general strike.
As she said, I'm Milo Lang. I'm a self-proclaimed labor organizer. I'm an apprentice in the International Association of Machinists and the chair of the Labor Committee for the Tacoma Democratic Socialists of America. I have spoken at 2 rallies in Tacoma since Inauguration Day. Both times I have outlined an important fact about our economic system, which every working person should understand. This fact is simple. Under capitalism, there are 2 groups of people, set apart by the way they make their money. There are many people in society, likely all of you here today, who make their money from the sale of their labor for a wage. It is the labor of this group which creates all valuable and useful objects that we need to survive. For example, housing, food, medical equipment, and clothing are all created by the backbreaking labor of workers. Our economic system is designed such that the workers are paid back in wages only partially for the value that they create. The rest is taken by entitlement by the owners of the businesses and institutions where the workers are employed. Because of the gain of the owners comes at the direct expense of the workers, there is a shared group interest between all owners and all workers. These are the class interests of the working and employing classes. Since the birth of capitalism, these class interests have been in fierce opposition. Every victory of the working class has been hard fought and met with violence by the ownership class. This struggle cannot end until we make a fundamental change to the economic system of our society and the structures of power which have forced this system upon us. I came to speak to you today about a general strike. Such a strike is similar to an organized labor strike in that the power comes from a collective withholding of our labor until specific demands have been met. Though they happen through a whole community, not just single industry. I will save you the long and storied history of the general strike. Suffice it to say, they have been a powerful tool of radical change for workers all over the world. Within this history, there are a few strikes that have been organized at a national scale, but many of them began on a local scale, organized within cities. These local actions went on to inspire other workers to follow in their footsteps. The most successful examples of general strikes began with specific sets of political or economic demands, such as the removal of an authoritarian administration or the institution of an 8-hour workday. And these workers committed to an escalating series of actions until their demands were met. Every example of a general strike begins with workers and communities recognizing a tremendous injustice being done onto them by the structure of society. They recognized also the tremendous power that they have as the people who make the gears of economy turn. These people made a collective decision to withhold their labor, grind to a halt the wheels of capital until something fundamentally changed about the system that they participate in. As a member of IAM 751, I understand at a practical level what it takes to organize a strike. I have two important lessons that I learned through our strike last September. First, a strike must come from the motivations and beliefs of a whole group of people. It cannot come from the top down. And second, a strike requires a huge amount of planning and community support to be successful. Before our strike, it had been 16 years since the Boeing workers had been able to fully negotiate a contract. And lots had changed in that time. A tentative agreement which did not meet our needs was recommended by both the company and the union. Many workers were filled with righteous anger at the company, and many felt betrayed by the union. From lunchtime marches that stretched between buildings to mass flyering campaigns, I was part of a shop floor campaign that motivated a 95% rejection of that awful contract. The will for that vote did not come from any single person or entity. It was a general will that was created by thousands of people thinking, acting, and struggling together in common interest. As soon as the votes were counted, I knew we were in for a fight. Being part of a strike is like any other experience in modern society. You are driven by a new set of motivations. Motivations based on a simple principle of doing what you are able to fulfill the immediate needs of those who you are struggling alongside. Firewood for the burn barrels, canopies to protect from the rain, hot soup to warm the hands and bellies of picketers. The efforts and organizing required to meet the needs of striking machinists are only a fraction of what will be required to sustain a general strike. But my experience on the picket line has proved to myself, and hopefully many of you in the community, that another way of organizing ourselves is possible. We are able to conduct ourselves unchained by creating boundless values for undeserving owners. One rather based on taking what you need and giving what you are able. We stand here in truly historic times. The Trump administration has taken power with the explicit and unapologetic aim of serving only the interests of the ownership class. Nearly every position in Trump's cabinet has been stuffed full of unqualified billionaires. At the helm of DOGE, the richest man on the planet has made cuts to programs that feed, house, educate, and employ millions of working people in this country. Trump has, of course, made use of the violence typical of the ownership class to suppress his opposition. From the violent detentions of lawful immigrants across the country, many targeted for their political and labor organizing, to the public rhetoric that the administration intends to target citizens next. The violence committed by the ownership class to keep workers in place has always been at the back of many workers' minds. The threat of homelessness and starvation if you do not obey your boss, and jail if you rightfully take back the products of your labor. But now, violence lives at the forefront of our daily existence. That violence has scared me before, but now I feel only a calm and righteous anger that it is all allowed to continue. You are not alone here today. Whether you feel fear or anger or anything else, take a moment with everyone else here to make those feelings heard. This violence must end, and we are the only ones with the power to stop it. We can see all around us that the will for change exists in our community. We are proving to ourselves today that the whole working class of our city can stand together, from organized labor to ununionized workers to immigrants, women, all creeds and colors can struggle together. However, any union organizer can tell you that in the workplace, a will for better conditions will not make those conditions improve. It takes people coming together to make demands and coordinate opposition until those demands are met. And likewise, if we ever intend to call a general strike that will succeed, to be ready for a general strike means we need a strong coalition of as many labor and community organizations as we can muster. It also means developing robust strike funds within participating unions and interconnected mutual aid networks to support the city when work stops. These tasks may seem insurmountable, but workers just like you and I have achieved them before. They have fought hard and won themselves better futures. I would like to invite you all to a community roundtable at the Olympic Room at the Tacoma Public Library from 3 to 5 on May 10th. That is the Olympic Room in the Tacoma Public Library from 3 to 5 on May 10th. Bring with you your connections to organizations, your ideas on what it will take to establish a general strike in Tacoma. We are all we got, but we're all we need. We are all as powerful as we allow ourselves to be. Thank you all.
Okay, next we have Cass from International Migrants Alliance. They will be speaking on the struggles our immigrant neighbors have been facing when trying to seek asylum, which has now sharpened under the heightened attacks from the Trump administration, and the struggles they face specifically as immigrant workers. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that. All right, let's give a warm welcome to Cass.
Hello, y'all. My name is Cass. I'm a member of Capybara Colectiva, an anti-imperialist migrant organization and a member of the International Migrants Alliance. Today, I'll be sharing a speech that was written in collaboration with Capybara, Ima, and Adriana from Comunidad Sin Fronteras. And Adriana, who is an asylum seeker from Venezuela, will really come out in this speech. She's been living here in Washington State for over a year and a half, is a leader of Comunidad Sin Fronteras, which is also a member organization of the International Migrants Alliance. And Adriana is holding it down at the Seattle May Day activities and is giving this speech over there. But I'm really excited to share it with you all here. Adriana is part of the community of thousands of asylum seekers here in Washington State who were first living in the Riverton Park United Methodist Church and since have been organizing and advocating for better living conditions that resulted in winning short-term hotel stays, which would lapse, and then time after time, migrants would be forced to sleep outside and swept from their community-made encampments. Shame! Similarly, in workplaces across Washington, in particular hospitals, warehouses, care homes, and fast food, migrant workers are experiencing wage theft, heightened levels of exploitation. As the economic crisis worsens, the workers experience cut hours, flexibilization, contractualization, further exploiting their labor necessary for the companies to make profits. Shame! As Trump's fascist attacks become more widespread without notice or proper reasoning, dozens of migrants and their families have been stripped of the little stable resources that they've had since getting to Washington, including their housing. Shame! Many migrants are fearful. Given the current policies of President Trump, families are scared to send their children to school, go to work, and many would have loved to be here at the march, but were too fearful to leave their homes. And Adriana shares, but I am here, well, she's in Seattle, because with our community here, we are not afraid. We must come together bravely to organize and fight for our communities and create solutions together. As the migrant and asylum-seeking community, we are demanding that the governor of Washington State, that you listen to our plea for support and do everything in your power to provide the necessary resources to support our community. We are here as residents of this state. Our children go to your schools. We have built a life here, and we want to continue to contribute to the community, but are fearful of being ripped apart from our loved ones. IMA, Capybara, and Comunidad Sin Fronteras believe that the U.S. immigration system is one that controls, represses, and even kills the migrants that were forced to come here due to the conditions that the U.S. caused in each of their homelands. Asylum seekers, migrants, and migrant workers, many who are vital to the economic stability of this country, demand that our basic needs be met and our taxpayer dollars not go to war and intervention in our homelands, forcing us to separate from our families. Trump's targeting of Venezuelan migrants doesn't have anything to do with gangs or safety. It has everything to do with Venezuela having the largest oil reserves in the world. For years, the U.S. has been launching sanctions against the country, casting doubt on their elections, and attempting coups. This has strangled the flow of food and medicines into the country and forced millions to flee, all because the imperialists need more oil. Shame! But when we fight together, we can expose the truth and end these imperialist root causes of forced migration. I really thank you all for welcoming us here to share about our struggle and our rights and livelihood as we continue to face these attacks daily. And so we really ask everyone to support the grassroots and asylum-seeking movement in amplifying our demands to the government officials in Washington State. We have 4 that we'd like to share today, so please make some noise after I read each one. We demand a declare of state emergency for migrants and asylum seekers in Washington State and that prohibit the eviction or increase in rent. We demand the pass of the $61 million for WAMAS funding in the state budget to develop accountability to work with migrants and asylum seekers directly for long-term solutions that work for their individual needs and ensure that money is spent responsibly and economically to provide a plan and implement protection for all migrants against detention and deportation. And for our last demand, I actually want to share a little bit more. Some of you may know about Jose, a 29-year-old Venezuelan migrant who was seeking asylum here in Washington State. He was one of the first Venezuelan migrants to be kidnapped to Guantanamo Bay. And you know who provided some of the first flights to Guantanamo Bay? Joint Base Lewis McChord here in Washington State. Shame! Researchers at UW have confirmed that of the first 5 military planes used for flights to transfer migrants to Guantanamo Bay, 2 of those planes belong to Joint Base Lewis McChord. Shame! Guantanamo Bay is a military prison and an illegal occupation of U.S. forces in Cuba. They tortured Jose in Guantanamo Bay, where he faced beatings, horrific torture such as his nails being ripped off. He has been deported, but he is still not free, because as long as the imperialist war machine continues to displace people abroad, migrants have to continue to fight for their livelihood and justice. And Joint Base Lewis McChord had a hand in facilitating this torture by providing the very flight that transferred Jose to Guantanamo Bay. Shame! And so for our last demand to Washington State, it's to intervene and to stop the deportation flights to El Salvador and Guantanamo Bay, stop the complicity and protect our community. We're really moved by the solidarity that we see here today. We know that together we can defeat these fascist attacks, because Migrantes Unidos jamás serán vencidos. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cass, for sharing that powerful story. When labor unites with immigrants, we strike bigger blows against the racist bosses like Trump and his cronies. Next, we have Auntie Lynn's family. Llewellyn is a member of the SEIU 925, and she is currently being unjustly detained at the Northwest Detention Center. Shame! Her family will be coming up to speak along with her union siblings and folks from Tango Migrante as their support network.
So good afternoon, everyone. Maganda araw po sa inyo lahat and aloha. My name is Madonna Cristobal, also known as Donna. Today, on this International Workers' Day, I stand before you with a heavy heart, but also with unwavering determination. I am here on behalf of my Auntie Lynn, a dedicated worker, a loving family member, and a proud Filipina who has been unjustly detained at the Northwest ICE Detention Center since March 2nd. 2 long months. 2 months of fighting for her release, 2 months of bureaucratic delays and uncertainty. While we celebrate a small victory, her hearing date being moved up to May 29th instead of July, we know this is not enough. We demand justice. We demand her parole be approved. She poses no threat to society. Her decades-old conviction was a single, non-violent offense with no prison time served. We demand her release so she can return to her vital work at the University of Washington laboratories, contributing to our community. Auntie Lynn's detention is not just an injustice to her, it's an injustice to her family, who are struggling to make ends meet without her income. It's an injustice to the very principles of fairness and due process that this nation claims to uphold. Today, May 1st, International Workers' Day, is a day to celebrate contributions of working people around the world. It's a day to honor the backbone of our societies. The farmers, factory workers, nurses, teachers, construction workers, and especially for us, the overseas Filipino workers, also known as OFWs, who sacrifice so much for their families and our nation. But this celebration rings hollow when we know that workers like Auntie Lynn are being denied their basic rights and freedoms. Labor Day is not just a holiday, it's a call to action. It's a reminder that the strength of our economy, the future of our children, and the soul of our society depend on the dignity and well-being of every worker. We must hold our government and private sector accountable for strengthening policies that protect workers' rights and ensure that economic growth benefits all, not just privileged few. Growing up in Hawaii, May Day was a different kind of celebration. It was a celebration of lei, of love, respect, and connection. We learned the hula, a dance that embodies the spirit of aloha. But today I understand that true aloha means standing in solidarity with those who are suffering, fighting for justice, in demanding a better world for all workers. I am honored to stand with you today on this Araw na Paggawa, this Philippine Labor Day. I can't speak to the experiences of all those detained at the Northwest ICE Detention Center, but I can tell you about Auntie Lynn. She has worked since she was a teenager, instilling in me and the rest of the family's values of hard work, dedication, and pride in our Filipino heritage. I remember my father picking her up from her after-school job, and I saw firsthand her commitment and responsibility. My family comes from a long line of hardworking individuals. My grandfather, Emiliano Cristobal, Auntie Lynn's father, was born in the Philippines and began working at the age of 17, working as a mercenary in Kwajalein, Marshall Islands. He instilled in us a long work ethic and integrity. For Auntie Lynn and for all those unjustly detained, I stand with you and call for dignified labor. We must commit to creating policies that protect workers' rights, provide better working conditions, and ensure equal opportunities for all, regardless of their immigration status. To our overseas Filipino workers who endure distance and hardship to their families a better life, you are our modern-day heroes. We honor your resilience and your invaluable contribution to our country. On this day of unity, let us ask ourselves, are we doing enough? Are we building a nation that truly values labor, not just in words, but in action? Let us remember that true progress can only be achieved when there is justice for workers and dignity in labor. Thank you, salamat, mahalo, and happy International Workers' Day. Let's bring Auntie Lynn home.
Thank you so much for that beautiful speech, for sharing from the heart and giving insight to Auntie Lynn's experience. Next, we'll have the Tango Migrante folks stay on stage for a Filipino poem. Let's give them another round of applause.
Magandang gabi, good evening everyone. Ako po si Jem, my name is Jem, and I am a member of Tango Migrante Network in Washington State. Thank you so much, Ate Dana, for sharing about Auntie Lynn. And Tango Migrante Network is a group of many different Filipino communities, organizations, and allies that are really helping to push this fight forward to support the and defend our migrants who are detained and facing many different severe struggles right now. Exploitation, trafficking, wage theft, and mass deportation. I wanted to share, yesterday we had a National Day of Action at the Northwest Detention Center and at Philippine consulates all around the US. And so we were able to contribute to a message to our Philippine consulate asking for their accountability and really helping and supporting our migrants who are experiencing really inhumane treatment in places like the Northwest Detention Center. And we were there to specifically call for support for Ate Michelle, another Filipina who is detained at the Northwest Detention Center who had her hearing yesterday. And we have some great news. She has been released from the Northwest Detention Center. It is her walking free with the community behind her that shows that people power works. It is us coming together that is important, right? And we know that there are so many unnamed migrants, especially for Filipinos, many workers who come by the thousands from the homeland that is impacted by wars of aggression, repression, and exploitation. And so we really want to address the root issues. But we also know that many of our workers here are really suffering. And many of them are also mothers. They are women. They are wives, like Auntie Lynn and Ate Michelle. And so this song, it's called Mother's Day, is a tribute to them. We're gonna end with Migrante ng Bayan, Tuloy Tulang Laban, so hope you can join us in that chant, okay? My children are hungry, they're sick from the heat, while I pick the crumbs
take my money. You think I don't see. You use it to fire on women like me. I live ragged, their bodies are bare, while I sew the clothes for others to wear. And you take my money. You think I don't see. You use it to fire on women like me. I live in a dump. My landlord's no good. While I clean the house in a rich neighborhood. And you take my money. You think I don't see. You use it to fire on women like me. I wanted my children to have a good skill, but they go in your army and they learn to kill. And you take my children. You think I don't see. You teach them to fire on women like me. Rifles and guns won't win any wars unless you've got something that's worth fighting for. We fight for the people. Just you wait and see. They started a fire in women like me. We fight for the people. Just you wait and see. They started a fire in women like me. Migrante, nang bayan, tuloy, tuloy ang laban!
Thank you so much for that beautiful song. It was very moving. I could tell that we're all very moved by that cultural offering. You know, the bosses will always have more money than us, but collectively we are so strong. Soon we're going to take to the streets, but first we're going to highlight two of the biggest collective bargaining struggles taking place in Tacoma right now, today, right now, literally right now, with Tacoma Education Association and United Food and Commercial Workers.
Where are the teachers at? Where are the educators at? Stand up, give them some love. And give a little more love to all the communities we serve. You all, your children are why we come out all day. Thank you. I'm Jeremy. I am an elementary school gym teacher here in Tacoma. I'm a proud Tacoma Education Association member.
And I'm Jen. I'm a school office professional in Tacoma Public Schools and also a proud Tacoma Education Association member.
Thank you all. So, it'd be remiss of us to not acknowledge the tragic deaths of 5 Tacoma Public School students to violence over the past couple months. It's terrible stuff. Amidst this tragic wave of youth violence affecting our communities throughout the country, we see politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, trying to cut public services to our students. We see their billionaire backers try to cut everything we have. The Trump administration's escalated attacks, fueled by billionaires seeking to put profits over humanity, are tearing into our communities across the country. Our immigrant brothers, sisters, and siblings are being pulled from their homes and their jobs and transported to detention camps against their will with no probable cause. Boo! Our trans brothers and sisters and siblings face vicious attacks from right-wing groups. Housing costs, health care, grocery prices, everything is soaring except for our wages, while corporations rake in record profits. Boo to all that. Here in Washington, we have a state legislature and a governor's office controlled by Democrats that is looking to make cuts to public services, including, guess what, education. Boo to that nonsense too. We are currently bargaining a new contract with Tacoma Public Schools, and all we hear from them is, well, we don't have any money. We're cutting positions. We don't have any money. I'll be the first to tell you right now, too, before you read in the Tacoma News Tribune or some weird right-wing freak's blog, we aren't asking for a raise. We are asking for the following. We want to see resources for special education. Yeah. We want to see an investment in early education. We want safe schools. And we want effective caseloads and class sizes so we can best serve our students. Now, most community members that I talk to and parents that I talk to are astonished to find out that the elementary school I teach at has 430 students, but we only have one nurse for 1 day per week. We have no assistant principal. We have no social worker. We have one counselor, and we have overloaded self-contained special education classes. Boo to all that. Most folks are also shocked, check this out, that Superintendent Josh Garcia makes a cool $385,000 in base salary. Do any of you all make $385,000 a year? No, me neither. Even with the shortcomings of the Washington legislature, we know TPS has the money to fund the most basic needs that our students deserve. Yet, they choose to pay exorbitant salaries to a select few. That sounds familiar, right? We've heard that over and over again throughout the day, huh? If TPS can pay for cabinet members to go on luxury retreats to mountain resorts, they can afford nurses, they can afford social workers, they can afford to pay paraprofessional educators a livable wage. You know, all those people who actually work with our students, who actually care about them. Getting our students the resources they deserve will require a fight. It's not going to be easy. Our union has played a nice for far too long. Done are the days of us asking nicely or compromising with school district directors who don't have our students' best interest in mind. We can no longer operate on our own little island. We need to partner with the communities where we serve, particularly communities in the east side, the south end, and the hilltop, who are always screwed over disproportionately by budget cuts. We need militant unions led by rank and file workers who actually want to fight, not bureaucrats who want to put on a suit and play boss and rub shoulders with them. We need a mobilized group of workers and activists, just like the one I'm looking at right now. Make some noise, you all. And free Palestine.
Thank you, Jeremy. So yeah, let's talk some more about Tacoma Public Schools. Before we even started bargaining with TPS, the district filed an unfair labor practice complaint against the union because our building reps voted to create a team of 15 people to bargain for certificated staff. Yeah. It is our right as a union to choose the size and makeup of our team, and we need at least 15 members at the table to reflect the diversity and job responsibilities of our membership. We even offered to pay for the release time and meals of our team members. The district fears us having a larger, more representative team because they know a team that actually reflects our membership isn't going to agree to a deal that doesn't best serve us and our students. So like Jeremy said, bargaining is underway and the district is proposing cuts. But let me be clear, this isn't entirely the district's fault. Our budget is largely at the mercy of our legislators in Olympia. Again, TEA's RISE platform is clear with our demands. We need resources for special education, investing in early education, safe schools, and effective caseloads and class sizes. As educators working in our buildings every day, we know what we need, what our students and their families need. The budget that just passed, while it offers a bit more money for special ed in K-12 over the next 2 years, really does nothing to change the situation school districts face across the state. Our schools are chronically underfunded because our legislators refuse to do what is to them the unthinkable and tax the rich and fix our regressive tax system. Our electeds are so beholden to their donors and big business that they even saw fit to exempt Boeing from a paltry 0.5%, that's half of 1%, revenue surcharge in this budget. The fact is that Democrats in this state can claim to care about working class people, they can claim to care about education, but until they stop balancing budgets off the backs of the working class, until they develop spines and take real action to tax the wealthy, to make them pay their fair share and fix this regressive tax structure, until they make real change for working families, for our schools, and for our communities struggling with the cost of housing and food, we will continue to find ourselves in this situation. What we need now is for workers to come together in solidarity to fight the attacks on unions, our trans and immigrant siblings, and all workers. Fighting together is the only way we win.
When we fight, we win.
We win.
Fight.
We win.
When we fight,
We win.
there you go.
Thank you so much, Jeremy and Jen. Next, I'll be reading an update from Michael Wallen, a staff organizer with UFCW 367. All right, this is the update. We gave Kroger/Safeway our full economic package, and they did not respond. Non-economics responded with nearly all rejections. The employer then said they were not ready to meet for the rest of the day until tomorrow. We are taking action for a picket on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Fred Meyer on Stevens across from Foss High School. I would love for all of your support. Again, that's on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Fred Meyer across from Foss High School. All right, who's ready to march?